Hello, everybody, and welcome to Minecraft Musings. Yes, I did forget the alarm, so I'm going to set that while I'm talking. But basically, uh, let's see, 9:15 about, yeah. And I might get interrupted here, and that's fine. PM. See, all these little tricks. When you're setting an alarm, and this is good for when you get into the real world, because I've actually ran into this problem where I slept through my alarm, or my alarm wasn't even set. I had set it incorrectly the day before, whether you're, excited, nervous, or absent-minded, or whatever the case may be, you know, always make sure that you set your alarm correctly. But also, I was watching something or I saw something kind of funny, kind of bittersweet on the Facebooks. It was a meme like, what was it? Send a CV, which is basically like a resume. It's just like a cover, or it's some kind of Latin word I want to say, like cervix rubba or something. But anyways, my point being is like you need to be dynamic, and we've talked about that before. Just like the importance of being dynamic. I put out a short. I clipped one into a short. I should start clipping some more shorts. But anyways, you really need to be dynamic, and especially in this playlist, what we're doing now. Like, I mean, I still haven't even put in a help ticket for Microsoft, and so here's the funny thing. So, as a security professional, I'm a cybersecurity professional. Graduated near the top of my class. I was the third highest score-wise in the first cohort of this Colorado State University cybersecurity boot camp. So it's a $10,000 class, which is, yeah, pretty expensive if you don't have money. Even if you do have money, that's pretty expensive. But, I have a buddy who paid 20 grand to stay out of prison for a drug charge. So, in hindsight and in perspective, but anyways, and I have a degree too. I got a degree in applied computing technology, which is more geared towards IT technicians. But I happened to find a software developer position for a year until I realized it was just a glorified IT position. And don't get me wrong, like now that I work in IT, I love it. I mean, it's much more preferred than software development. Like, yes, software development is fun. You get to build things, but like, you're not going to build the next Netflix. You're not going to build the next Google. Most likely, what you're going to do is make sure it looks good, or it looks like a Google or something, or you're going to build a knockoff or a tribute, you could call it, or whatever. But I mean, it's just funny. Or you're going to refactor some code that was written all sloppy, like somebody looking like, they didn't know what they were doing, and most likely they probably didn't know. I mean, because like you can teach all so much about software, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to find out some of these things for yourself. You're going to have to bang your head against the wall. Like, you're going to have to, I don't know. But I mean, just like any job, I did learn a lot from my first position, even though I wasn't technically a software developer and all of our development was done in China, which is hilarious because in cybersecurity, we were taught the two countries to look out for are China and Russia. Unfortunately, until we figured this whole mess out, in fact, we read a book called Ghost Fleet, which is the hypothetical of if China started World War III. And even with that, and it inspected a lot of angles of like how China could, compromise our security and stuff, and they could totally, just like we can theirs. I mean, at the same time, and cyber warfare is like the wild west of laws and regulations. Like, there aren't many. I mean, people are snooping, gaining access, and then all you really need is once you get a login for their site, you have access to, well, potentially you have access to all the things connected to that. Like, it depends on your level of access that you gain. But once you're in there, then, you just move laterally and all that. Um, and we have ways to detect intrusions too. Rogue devices, unauthorized logins, resetting passwords. Multi-factor is the most important thing. And see, that's the thing. Is like in my current job, which still shall remain nameless, but I actually help 500 to 600 people every semester sign up for multi-factor authentication. So yes, I am helping single-handedly, mind you. I handle all of the issues with multi-factor authentication solo. So it's not that big of a deal. When I was over at Woodward, like, I handled thousands of tickets from around the world. Like, and we also dealt with government information, so I could go to prison for violating my posts, basically. And I was a private citizen, just like, and not even paid well. Like, I love Woodward. They were a great company for some things. But my gosh, I was making 18 bucks an hour. You can make 18 bucks an hour working at Walmart. And like, but I also have like $40,000 in debt. So it's like, huh. You know, I could go work at Walmart and probably be a lot happier for it, a lot easier. I mean, you don't have to think. Like, although it's degrading. You know, I worked at Subway for 5 years, and the only thing I could think about was like, God, I hate this job. Like, I wish I could go. I mean, not always. That sounds bad. Like, Subway was actually pretty fun. I was an assistant manager for good like 3 or 4 of those years. I got hired on. I got a raise every year, every evaluation period. I never missed a raise. But I ended up making only a quarter more than a new hire when I left because wages kept increasing and I kept promoting, but all that was doing was just keeping me current with the current new hires. Like I wasn't actually progressing. I think I hired on for like $6.15 an hour for the first one. This was back in 2010. 2010 to 2015. No, it was 2000. Because I graduated in 2016, like, and then I quit. I put in my 2 weeks notice, like right around the graduation weekend. I think I worked all the way up until because I needed money. I had my first kid in college. Like, I it was kind of a surprise. Like, well, I don't want to say that a lot because I don't want them ever like coming across these videos and thinking that they're any less than any other kids because they're not. Like, once you make that decision to have the child, like, and it was kind of a not my decision, but I accepted it, and that's part of growing up and being an adult is like, even if something happens, you got to face the consequences. Like, I mean, granted, hopefully that never involves like killing somebody or accidentally killing somebody. Because, like I said, I know somebody that did, well, he actually did 12 years in Lyman on a 25-year life sentence for accidentally killing his cousin in a fist fight. Now, say you accidentally kill somebody with a car. Well, if you've been drinking, then yeah, you're going to prison. Like, that's because that's negligence. And the same could be said if you're smoking bud and you're out there and if you kill somebody, that's negligence. You don't want to smoke and drive and you don't want to drink and drive. It's very simple. And I say that, and I've smoked a lot in my life, like, and I'm not going to hide that. Like, and even my current job doesn't care as long as you don't do it out. And that's the other thing. We actually had that clarified the other day. You can't be under the influence, but you can still partake. So just like drinking alcohol at events, now in Colorado, you can smoke marijuana and not be in trouble for a lot of places. Like, yeah, you can't smoke it there, but you could have smoked a little bit and then come there. And like, as long as you're not acting goofy and loopy, like that's not considered under the influence. It's when your performance starts being affected. Like when you've had too many. And that's how they can get away with still having alcohol. Cause we've had alcohol at the office, multiple times. It's not a big deal. Like, my first job, we had alcohol in a cooler that was free to drink like all day. Like people would end their day with a nice little beer or some wine or some whiskey or something, or we'd have champagne every Friday. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. And like, oh, it was a good company too. That was the thing. It's just I didn't mix well with alcohol. And that's because when people have a little bit more baggage than the average person, alcohol is really a magnifier of those issues. And people don't realize that because that's the thing. People see all these other people enjoying alcohol. Well, you know what else? A bunch of rich executive types do cocaine and stuff. Like that's what's bad. Like you get super rich and everything, you're doing like bad drugs and it's like, "Oh my gosh." Don't get me wrong, all drugs are bad, and even marijuana until you're old enough is bad for you because your brain doesn't fully develop until you're mid to late 20s. But try telling any, teenager that they gotta wait. Like they'll just laugh at you and they'll go find a way to do it. Like it's a tough thing. And I remember when I was in high school, you had the cool parents that would let you come over and drink as long as you drank there. Ooh, what is this? I think this is one of those caves, the Dripwater caves. Usually has axolotls. Oh, we gonna get some axolotls today. We could be doing that. I know we're gonna beat the Ender Dragon and we're gonna beat the Wither and we're gonna beat the Warden. We're gonna do all that in this one. In fact, I think once we get some diamonds and stuff, I'll take it back out of peaceful and start actually. Ooh, speaking of which, I believe that's the city version of Skulk. So we've got Drip Caves. And I want to say that's Skulk, but either way, I'm going to... Oh, wait, no, no, no. That's the coal. Yeah, that's just coal in the deep slate. Never mind. Sorry, the Skulk looks pretty much similar to that, if I remember right. The few times... Because I remember being confused when I came across it. I was like, that's just... And then I realized it was a warden thing. But anyways, let's keep staring down. Oh yeah, look at those tropical fish. Yeah. Woo. Sorry, I get excited about the simplest things. I love this game. Like, and that's the thing too. I talked to some of my friends. I'm gonna continue to donate one game of Minecraft a month, but I think I'm gonna try to work with my local community first. I do talk with people at the halfway house, community corrections here, and I'm not trying very hard because the thing is, I'm kind of embarrassed by my GED project because I only have two of the videos, and honestly, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be recording that because I was looking at the fine print of the software that they use to test you for. Oh, it's okay. Uh, well, that's fine. We'll do one more. I don't want to impose more. And actually, I'm going to capture all these fish and let's make a fish tank. There we go. Okay, so in fact, let's make it stairs all proper. Oh wait, there. I was about to start. Anyways, we're finding a lot of really cool things. Like this seed is just awesome. I feel like all the seeds are getting awesome like that. They're finally learning. They're figuring out what the people want. And that's why Minecraft still has to have a price because they do have a lot of people working for them, developers, bug fixers, like, well, same developers. Like, and that's the thing. When you're a software developer, it's not just building the next tool. You're going to be fixing bugs. You're going to be writing documentation. You're going to be explaining things at board meetings or explaining things to committees. Like, you have to be, and that's why it was really cool to work at Encompass. Like, I will say they are a great company for that because it blends. Like, they have the IT technicians and the software developers. First off, they make the same money, so there's no difference there, which I loved. Because that's one of the biggest pains in a lot of companies is like the tech people almost always get more money. Like, and that's true of my current job now. Like, I get paid more than the average person. Um, and I admit that I don't like it, but also, well, and here's the tricky thing because a lot of the people have master's degrees. And so right there, the amount of debt is actually proportionate to other people making more than the tech person. Because the tech careers, in fact, I'm living proof that you can. Oh wait, we did start making a storage area, so we can start using this. We can start putting like, here's all the cobblestone. This is now the cobblestone one. In fact, let's go ahead and make cow farm. We need sand. We need some furnaces. So let's actually take a stack of this. Let's make a furnace wall up here. This will be our little like shop area, and we can just continue to make stairways or walls or something like around it. It doesn't matter. Then we have like this patio. Ooh, we can even put like a couple of. Well, I don't have any with me. Usually I have random things. So let's make that cobblestone. This will be everything else. Wait. Actually, wait, no. Ah. Let's give it, let's see, 2, 2, and 2. Only andesite will be, yeah, okay. I was like, why can't I drag it across like I usually do? But that's because you have to use the control stick, not the arrow keys. All right, so we got granite, we'll have diorite, and then we'll have andesite, and then we'll have gravel. So then this, but we'll do, I mean, for now, because we will expand this, have entire things. I mean, if it gets anything like the one that I have in my realms, and that's fine. Like, I'm going to go back to the realms eventually because I spent, or maybe not. I don't know. This could be my new realms. Like if I built a giant, this is actually more comfortable and spacious than my realms. But I'll have to move this to the realm because I have my one buddy that's still probably playing on there that like, or maybe I don't know. I actually haven't seen him for a while. I haven't talked to him. He's been busy. He's actually been in between jobs himself. Yeah, we'll just leave that floating. Why not? It's horrible. Like he was actually going to help me help a buddy get a job at this place he was working at, and then the place went out of business, and it's like, oh no, now you need a job, and like he's found something, he's pursuing it, so that's good. But and actually, I got a text the other day, yesterday, randomly from someone that I don't know, or I don't remember, and they're like, hey, do you know anybody that wants to work in Wellington? And I was like, I didn't respond because I don't respond to any messages by default. Someone else like sent me a message like, "Hey, may I ask who you are?" Like, nah. Because the thing is if you don't find me through one of my socials and tell me what your intent is, I'm going to assume you're trying to steal and I'm going to report you. That's the sad default. But until we get things figured out, that's the sad truth of it, is people are trying to steal your information because they have it hard and they found out that they can do that. The internet connects all of us. Therefore, you can talk to somebody and get them to give you their bank account, or, the whole Nigerian prince thing, which that's actually kind of funny too. I saw this meme. Oh wait, we're getting, let's get shovels. Let's get a couple stone shovels. And we got to get some sand. Oh, and also let's go ahead and make buckets. A lot of buckets. Oh yes, and as you saw, 16 is the weird number for bucket stacks. You can only carry 16 buckets at a time. However, before we forget where it was, we are going to go collect all of the tropical fish that we can. And of course, you can pick up tropical fish off of the Wandering Trader. That's an option too. But you can find a drip cave, and you can start finding axolotls. In fact, what we're going to do, let's not completely rob the ecosystem. Well, we might completely rob all the tropical fish, but and also, as I say that, there's a bunch of tropical fish. It's harder to catch them in the ocean, I feel like, because you have to be more precise. I don't know. Maybe we could practice that, going fishing for tropical fish. But we do have a warm water. Actually, now that I say that, well, how would it best suit us? Like, if we had visitors to this place, or, yeah, if I started playing this with friends, what would be the biggest, not so much flex, because I don't know, like, it is, but at the same time, like, I'm equally impressed with, like, if my kids build even the simplest things, I get impressed, and I'm genuinely impressed, because it's like, they're learning, they're creating, they're using their brains to be like, oh, this looks pretty, or this makes sense, or this is functional. Also, we just lost all of the tropical fish. They despawned. But that's okay. So what I was going to do is, so we have infinite water source. And what we can do, oh, there's diamonds I see right there, so that's good. I was just going to come try to, like, create more fish. It's almost the same as, like, stocking a reservoir with fish. Oh, you can't crouch in water. That's dangerous, because if there is a hole in here, I could totally fall through. Let's go get that diamond before we forget, because I will forget. And we really need to get an enchanting table, so maybe that's what we could do with these diamonds. We have obsidian, we need books, we've got leather. I forget how to get glowstones. Or the glowberries. See, and right there, like, be ready to back away if gravel falls through. Actually, we do need some arrows too. Like, that's the thing. Our projects are build an aquarium, build a mob grinder. And this is the very slow way to do it. That's Minecraft. That's why I love this game. It's meditation. It's where you can think. It's where you can be at peace. Oh, that's the other thing too. If you're ever going to do something wrong against somebody, it's not just the incurred cost of if you get caught and go to jail. It's also the incurred cost on your mental state. Like, you have to live with yourself knowing that you did what you did. And that's why I think, like, people like Trump, I mean, because that he had to make a bunch of hard decisions, like, oh, there we go. Firing people and, like, completely ruining people's livelihoods over stuff that could be very trivial too. Like, maybe they just didn't get along with certain people, but those certain people have more say, and then they got it pushed out or what have you. In fact, I'm dealing with this other situation where it's like I got to watch my back, and it's like, I hate that. I hate that, because you like to trust people. You like to think that people wouldn't try to mess over someone else's livelihood out of petty differences, but I see it. Like, they need private talks with the boss, and it's like, I thought we were getting along so well. No, it'll be okay. Like, and that's the cool thing too, is like, now that I'm working and, like, I'm actually doing cybersecurity duties, technically I'm getting experience in cybersecurity. So, and that is one of the highest paying, unfortunately, because that means that businesses are losing. Sorry, it's not funny. I kind of chuckle at things, but I chuckle at the sheer absurdity of it. Like, people are losing millions of dollars because of security threats. And most of the time, it's just as something as simple as a human error. Someone along the way accidentally clicked a link or something. And it's like, and you can try and, all the email carriers try to block everything. And the people that get caught, yeah, they get fined or they get prosecuted by their own governments. Like, so the money still comes from somewhere. However, not all of it. You can't recoup millions of dollars off of somebody that figured out how to use the internet in a country around the world, like, and not just figured out how to use the internet, figured out how to manipulate people. And that's the thing too. That's also why, like, I'm in preventative blue teaming. So, and I'm interested in helping specifically India because I traveled there for work and it's a beautiful place. Like, the people are pretty cool. Like, there is a lot of begging, but there's a lot of begging here too. I mean, people seem to forget that, like, we have people, although here Americans are bolder, we'll be like, oh, piss off or this or whatever, like, oh, go get a job, you bum. But then in India, they do it with kids. And then it's like, oh, let me see if I have a granola bar or something. And it was really annoying one day to me. Like, I had this little kid come up and try to take my water bottle out of my pocket. I was like, hey, get out of here. Like, this is water. Like, and it's not even the water on the label. I refilled this bottle. Like, you're getting my backwash, my spit, and like, but then that made me think. I was like, did they not have water? Like, maybe not good water. And so that's a thing. So rather than giving my one bottle of water away, because I needed that to walk around that day, I didn't want to have to go all the way back to the place and get a bottle of water and then, or try to find water there because clearly it's scarce or you have to pay for it or something. Well, I mean, of course you have to pay for it, but I don't know. So my thing is how do you change? How do you help them and actually help them? And so to get a little biblical, the Bible says, Jesus, or teach a man to fish, or give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for life. And that's horribly patriarchal. Like, teach a person to fish, that person will eat for life. Oops, also we lost the torch again. Because now I'm trying to make it to where we get lots of fish. So the more water, the more spawnable area. It has to be underground. And axolotls, I think it has to be dark too. Dang it, so never mind. We actually do have to take this away. I think it has to be dark for the axolotls to spawn, at least. And I do have a short. That was like one of my most popular videos. And that's what I feel bad is, like, if kids stumble across these things thinking it's, oh, cool, it's a Minecraft. Oh, he's so good at Minecraft. Oh, he's talking about overthrowing political parties or something. I'm just kidding. Never overthrow. Like, you need to do it diplomatically and peacefully. But you also need to be part of a government that can have change and affect change. Like, otherwise... just go curl in a hole and die. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, death is never the option. Death is never a good option, I should say. Like, it's hard out there. There's no doubt about it. It is a tough world, but we are getting there. We are trying to fix it. You just need to be patient. You need to, because we're not deities. Like, back in the day, they used to say a god was responsible for everything. Literally, like, everything. There was a god for the sun. Oops. Oh, so it's the left one to pick them. My bad. But, there was a god that carried the sun across the sky in a chariot, like, and everybody just accepted that. Like, oh yeah, there's a guy up there with a chariot or a woman up there with a chariot. And that was the cool thing too. Gods could be women too. Like, they gave women and men gods, mostly men, but like, it wasn't always completely sexist. And then kind of over time, it just became sexist because the women usually were at home nurturing the baby or raising the baby or taking care of life, which is kind of like the most important thing. Sorry, it's just, that's my opinion. That's why, like, the whole patriarchy is just silly. Like, the men were the ones, well, but then it kind of makes sense because the men were the ones at the factories, at the jobs, like, doing the work. For the most part, women still worked. Like, don't get me wrong. Or same with war. Up until the days of Joan of Arc, like, it was a man's job to go and kill and die for protecting people. And back in the day, it really was serving your country against real threats that meant to destroy your country. Now, nobody wants to, nobody is trying to destroy America more than America. Like, we are so bent, we're so disagreed, and so such in an area of disagreement, I guess you could say. And it's all centered around power and greed and misunderstanding. Like, Okay, I guess the abortion thing, yeah, that really is a religious issue. Like Christianity doesn't like abortions. And honestly, nobody likes abortions. However, everybody likes premaritals. Whether they say they don't, they do. It's a natural. It's our biological. And if you're a kid watching this, don't worry about that. Let that go right over your head. But what I'm saying is like religion and Islam. I want to say Islam's the same about premaritals. I need to look that up because I saw my tweet was either deleted or hidden or probably reported and like or whatever the one that I tagged. But that's okay. I'm just gonna start talking to the Pope directly on the Twitters because he needs to know. Like, and I think he does. I think he does. He has a pretty firm grasp on, like, let's see, he's already come out and spoke out against like anti-LGBTQ. Like, it's not something to condemn someone over. Like, it's about as big of a sin as like wearing, wool and polyester socks. Like, in the Bible, it says not to do a lot of silly things. Like, don't eat red meat on Fridays. Well, now we're finding you shouldn't eat red meat, period, because it clogs your arteries and then it could cause heart problems and death. Like, but yet our biggest food is cow. And I was at the store yesterday and I almost bought a bunch of beef thinking, oh, I should start grilling or I should get the grill out. And sorry to all my friends in India, I know the cow is sacred. However, let me talk about that for a second. Our cow is really sacred because I also saw a lot of leather shops in India. And I asked my taxi driver, basically my tour guide, my boy Rocky, sorry if I said his name. Well, whatever. I'm actually hoping to incorporate him in some of my philanthropic projects that I got coming up because I'm still working on. Well, I gotta figure out the legalities of it because yeah, one game of Minecraft, sure, like what's that hurting? But or if I get in trouble, I donated a video game. Ooh, but like if sorry, I guess I don't need my bread. And also, I'm keeping an ear out. My kiddos are gonna be coming by any minute. So, but anyways, let's see. What was I saying with all that? Oh, basically, we just need to revamp religion. And the thing is, I don't go to church. I don't go to temple. I don't go to mosque. Like, I believe that we were created by something. Personally, I think it was random chance, and we were just like one great singularity and the Big Bang. Just because that's what the scientists are saying. Like, that's their biggest thing. So, I trust their judgment. Also, should we do this? Yeah, and then we could even do over here. Do I have anything? No, it's got to blend in. What we can do is we can take one of these blocks like we were kind of doing. What should we take? Actually, let's take this one. Oh, well, yeah, sure. Why not? And now we have something that looks like it's old and old and decrepit, part of the thing. What we could do with this. Parkour. Oh. And then, ta-da! Now we're going to have those glow berries flanking the portal on either side. And so it's going to look even cooler because it's going to have glows hanging down. And it's got the glowing corners. Ooh, I hope magma doesn't actually destroy those. Well, we'll see. So, and we could also... Yes, yes. We just have a random furnace in the tree, and we could use it too. It's functional, and then we have it hanging off of there. All right. Anyways, that will help. And we'll do one of those there, right? Why not? Let's do it in the corner since we have it. We're going to continue to grow. Let's see. Oh, we only got a couple more minutes. Let's stay on point. We've got a bunch of furnaces. Now only 7? How did I end up with 7? I probably took half a stack. But anyways. That's kind of troubling. Like, how did I only end up with 8 furnaces from a stack? Oh, I see. Wait, what? Oh, you can make them from those? I mean, yeah, I'm going to, but it makes more sense to make them from the cobblestone. But because cobblestone is a lot easier to get. I mean, deep slate, although I use it a lot more for decoration and stuff, is better for, well, decoration and stuff, because then you don't have to process it as much. All right, so now we need a lot of wood. We'll go ahead and put the buckets away for now, because we're going to continue to try to do that. Should make this, put the water buckets there too. So now we have a ton of buckets that we've got diamonds. Let's make an enchanting table. We need, oh, that's what we need. Let's go ahead and work on getting wheat and cows and all that stuff. Let's see, and I hope that these are loaded in. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Like, because if they're not loaded in, then they won't actually grow. Oh, I just realized I didn't plant the other ones back over there, so we'll go do that. But basically, I don't know. So I'm going to keep trying to, because my goal eventually is to go hang out with the Pope and Snoop Dogg. Like, it's a common joke I have amongst my friends because they don't think I'm going to do it. But, you know, mostly because they're split. Like, they know that I'm not religious. They know that I'm skeptical about the whole thing. However, that doesn't mean that I hate religion. Don't get me wrong. Like, just because I don't believe in it doesn't mean that I hate it. It has a lot of good things. Like, it keeps a lot of good people honest, keeps a lot of not so good people honest. And I think that the people that say they follow it, if they really started reading the book and living by it, then a lot of our problems would go away. But that's the thing. It's like, it's easier said than understood. And I read a lot of the Bible growing up. I was confirmed in the Methodist Church. I had to go to classes, like on top of Sunday school, on top of going to church every Sunday. And that's why I stopped going, because it was a pain in the arse. Like, I had to drive 30 minutes down there, sit for 1 hour at least, if not 2 hours. Hold on, let me finish this thought. Actually, maybe let's go ahead and start a second one, because the kids could be here any minute, but I could be, we might have to cut it short, which I had one of those. I started doing a Musings, but then my buddy called and then I cut it short. So that's a lost episode. And I also realized that I probably don't upload every single one. I try to. So there might be entire gaps. So that's why it's good that this is kind of like, there's no beginning, no end. Like, you can jump in at any point. And chances are you'll hear all of the Musings content in one of any of the episodes, or most of it, because I repeat things a lot. Oh, look, it's already growing. So anyways, let's cut that one and let's start another one. Ta-ta for now.